Whoa, you guys look like you're ready to enter the Ultimate Frying Championship.
Hey guys, welcome back to Devlog number 2.
Need more memory, bud.
We're back in here, checking out this awesome Godot project that I made with my team, the project PROVITA ERS. Put that on the screen. Put that on the screen live in 3 colors. So today we're gonna go over what we did the past week. It was week 2 now, it's sprint 2. So the first week was about ideation and prototyping. The second week was pre-production, where we start putting things in, start getting placeholder assets out, and putting real stuff in. As you can see, we have real stuff in here now. Now, this week was a game changer. And you might be saying, but Max, why? How is it a game changer? I'll tell you why right now. We had a lot of things changed about the project. We narrowed down some of the mechanics that we wanted to work on. We were refining things, we were adding new things, testing things out, and we ended up having a lot of people work on it, like in project, in Godot, in GitHub desktop. Basically what happened was me and Eden, the other programmer, we were working on our 2 separate things. We merged them, it was all good and dandy. See, now we took that for granted, because what happened was, once we merged our projects together, we put them all in main. Now we had our other team members, also known as Devin, Emma, Jade, and Hope. We had them all work on main to add like their respective things. But the thing with that is, if we're all working on main and we're all pushing changes and we're all editing one main thing at a time, one branch at a time, it's not gonna work out well when we start pushing things to it. Because if I'm pushing my changes and my things are different than yours and your things are different than mine, how do I know GitHub's like, how do I know what to overwrite? How do I know what to change? Do I keep this shader? Do I delete this thing that Max worked on for 2 hours? Okay, so I may have forgotten how to say how we actually fixed it, but basically me, Emma, and Eden stayed up that night because it was a sprint 2 deadline, and we did not fix it, and we tried to make like a bunch of branches and merge them together. The merging was not working, so we dropped it because our brains were fried and it was like 4 a.m. Then the next day when we had our meeting, I magically figured out how to arrange GitHub desktop to my liking, and it submitted to my hand of coding, and it worked out and everything merged and everything was great again. Yeah. Now what I was working on was the tool wheel, because we want to have tools, because it's a robot, you got to go around the world interacting with things. You're gonna need tools. You can't just be like magic robot hands destroy things and touch things when I touch them. Like, no, you can't do that. You might be cool, but you're not him. So I'll show you what I did with the tool thing. I'll show you that real quick. So as you can see in the top bottom left, there's a new little thing there. It's a leaf because that's what you have equipped. That's what you have when you have nothing equipped. So I'm gonna press 1 and whoa, animations. So what I did was I got a shader and I applied it to a rectangle behind them. When we first made the tool wheel, it was supposed to be kind of like a wheel, like similar to GTA, where they have the weapon wheel on screen, the radial menu. But then I was like, well, we have a menu, we have a kind of computer theme, if you can see with like the file. Okay, you can't really see it on the screen, but like there's like files and stuff that we have as the player's inventory, because they're like, they're a robot. So I'm like, what if we kept that computer theme? So me, I'm like, what if I click this and then, oh my god, look, it pops up a cool little like menu here. That would be so sick if we had it similar to that. So you see how it like pops up like that, and like the options pop out, and I was like, what if we do that for the tool menu, because robot. And then I tried to replicate it in a similar way. So it's pretty cool. You can scroll through, and then if you just leave it open, you start moving, it just automatically sets it to whatever you had last selected. Super cool, and optimization and game design and diegetic. But yeah, so you have the water option, which you can choose different types of water, which you'll find around the world, and suck it up a la Slime Rancher, and shoot it back out, or water things, because this is a game about plants, so you should be able to water things, because plants need water. You also have an axe. Oh my gosh, wait, leaked, I'm leaking everything. You have an axe, you have shears, shovel, and pickaxe. These have the respective functions. We'll get to that. They don't really have functions right now. They're kind of just, if I have the right tool, then I can break it. So not super important right now. But anyway, the way I did it was, I think I did it pretty well, actually. I used a similar code base to what I did in my previous project, or one of my secret projects, and I used the system that I did for scrolling through a menu and looping through that. So what we have is basically, what's going on? It gives a little tween. Let me tell you about tweens. Let me walk with me, talk with me. Let me tell you about tweens. These are the greatest thing in Godot by far. Animation player, Beautiful, love it, great, awesome. Write home to your grandma about it, super great. Tweens. The tweens, you can change any value and make it pop. You can make it go back and forth. You can make it elastic. You can make the position move. You can make the scale move. You can change how long it takes. You can change how short it takes. You can change the transition move. It's so amazing. And there's like 12 different types of tweens. Multiply that by 3, by 4, and you got the ease modes. You take the ease modes and you can change it. They're so versatile. It's just so amazing. So we use a tween to make it pop in and out, so you can see how it like how it like jumps in and out super smooth and seamlessly. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. I was very proud of that, I'm not gonna lie. When you scroll through it, you pass in the previous one and the next one, the previous option in the array, because these are all stored in an array, the previous option and the next option, and then it pops in the previous one and then pops out the next one, and then also activates the shader, which I had to do some shader code by putting in a singular variable in the shader code and be like, hey, is this on? Yes, then turn it on. If not, then turn it off. Because shaders actually can't be they're not affected by visibility. So if I do this works because there's no shader on the ground layer. But if there was a shader on it, it would not work because that's not how shaders work. Did you know that? I didn't know that until 2 days ago. Wow. The shadows, they are reflective. They are dynamic based on where the sun position is. I do that in air quotes because there's no actual like sun in the game, but like when it's evening, the shadows are growing because the sun is going down the horizons, and that's when the shadows mostly form. But when it's like nighttime and the moon is directly over you, there's not going to really be many shadows. But when the sun starts to come up again, and now you can see the shadows start to grow. I'm sorry. So the shadows grow, and then once it becomes like fully daytime, the shadows go away, and it's a beautiful day. La la la. Also, we have leaves. Super cool. I did the art. My team says they love how they look. I think they're lying to me, and no, I know they're not lying because they're wonderful people. But I hate how they look. They look terrible. We have 3 art styles in the game right now. We have the placeholder assets that I found on Itch, which is like these trees and these bushes, and then we have the grass, which is made by our lovely artist, which looks amazing, and we have the leaves made by little old me. Like, these are terrible. These are just placeholders. I just wanted to see how leaves would look because you gotta get that dynamic environment feeling. And also once Hope puts in the music, it's gonna be super awesome because like they're gonna be like wind sound, like ambient wind and such. Like it's gonna be beautiful. So what else I did this week? We also have a saving system. Now I haven't really worked with saving and loading like ever. No, I did in a project previously, but like it was completely different. It was for like a narrative game, but this is loading and saving like player data, like specific like variables and stuff. Never touched that in my life. Would I touch it again? Maybe. Pause. Would I use it again? Yes, I would, because it's actually quite simple. So you basically just make a resource which saves a bunch of variables to it, and then when you want to save it, you just call that, make a new instance of that variable and save it over the whatever you had saved at the address of the previous save file, and then it works well. And then when you want to load it, you summon it like, come Persona. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It took a really long time to work because it was like you have to be really specific with how you called it and also where you saved it to. And also apparently you have to save it to user, which is like actually saving it on the user's computer. When we upload it as like a web browser game, it would work, and like it would save to the browser, not like the project. Because if you save it to like the Godot folder, like res : / it doesn't work. So it's super cool. Learn that too. It also saves. We also made it so that it saves the player data as well, because the player is now instantiated in each scene that it enters, because you can see the player is not in here. That's not the player, that's an NPC. We have to save and load the player each time this player moves a room. So we have to save whatever tool they had equipped and save their inventory. And we did that. We figured it out. We had our first collab. We even had our first collab, and we figured out how to make that work. Super awesome. And then I made it so that the tool is set, and also that the image updates whenever you move rooms, so that it stays set, and also like the same option is chosen when you move rooms. So like you don't have to be like, wait, if I chose the axe but it's set it back to water, why is it setting to water if I didn't choose water previously? Yeah, it was not working very well, but then it worked, and then we did it because programmers never give up. That's what heroes do. That's what Izuku Midori does. Blah blah blah. My Hero Academia. Yeah, be a hero. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. Anyway, one more thing. The tools also. Speaking of tools, they also work based on what you have equipped. So say this tool needs a pickaxe, right? If I try and use an axe, it's not working. But if I use a pickaxe, Yes, it worked. And see, you don't even need to like have it, like I can just have it equipped over here and then it'll change the icon to it, but I can't. I should probably make it so that this changes the icon too. Look at that, I'm learning new things on the fly. And also, watch this saving. I can go into this room, I'm in a new room, right? I go back out and the item is still gone because it's persistent. These rooms are saving and loading at the same time. So it's persistent. Things that change in the room, they stay. And if they're not in sight, they don't just disappear. And that's game design.
Why you boring me? I'm right.
I showed you, I leaked it before, but you guys already saw it anyway. The moving through different rooms, super cool. I just put a secret area there. So this is like supposed to be like the hut that you have, that you find on the beach when you start the game, and then where you like find like your initial prerogative. But this is the lab, super cool. It's gonna be this like big ass area where you can explore, and it's gonna be super awesome. And yeah, it's not in functionally yet, but visually it is. And we just wanted to show people that we have, you know, shit in the game. And this is like yeah, super, lots of rooms, lots of awesome cool things. I got to make a bunch of collisions for it. It's gonna be super awesome, so you can't just walk around like I'm like in creative survival spectator mode. Also, one last thing that I did, super cool, I would say, to me, I thought it was pretty cool. I made a system for transitioning to rooms. Initially I had it so that the rooms save their last save the player's last position in the room, and then when you re-enter the room, it puts the player at that recently saved position for that room. But what I realized is if a room has draw on the screen. Wait, I can just draw right now, so my editor doesn't have to do it. The editor is me, the Dragon Warrior. It's me. Okay, if I'm here, right, and a room has multiple exits, right, if I exit this way to go to this room and I go back, yes, if there's only one exit, then I will appear right here at this exit. But if I go from here to here and I go into this room, if I go into this room and then I want to leave through a different way and I want to go back like this way and I circumvent and I go all the way around and I go from here to here to here to here and I end up back in the main room, the last position that I had saved would be here. So if I'm entering from the bottom and it puts me over here, player's gonna be like, what the tenure, bro? Well, that's not where I ended. That's a glitch. That's a glitch. So what I did is that each exit is connected to another location in another room. So you actually have to specifically put what location you want to put. Yes, it's probably not the best way to do it. Yes, it's my first time doing a system like that. Don't shoot me. I thought it was pretty good. And it worked pretty well, and my artists were able to understand it, so which means it was functional enough that other people could understand it and not just me in my little head. Looking so happy. Honestly, I feel at this point I can see the game. I think we're all visualizing it, and like we sense it. We sense the game. It's coming to fruition. We're almost there. We just gotta get there. Just keep going. Don't give up. We're not gonna give up. We're gonna have the greatest game. Also, speaking of greatest games, let me put you aside for a second. The amount of AI generated games or content in this jam is insane. How are you making AI generated content for an environmental game jam? If you're trying to save the environment and you're using AI generated materials for a game that's supposed to be supporting the environment, tell me that's not ironic. Have some tact, have some class. Like, AI can be used as a tool, but if it's your entire project and you're using it, if you're basing everything in your project around it, that's just like counterintuitive. Like, you're making a game for no reason. Like, come on. Come on. This is a human jam for human people, and we should do it together as humans. Dramatic zoom out. That's pretty much it for me for this devlog number 2. I know I was yapping a lot, but you know, it's all important stuff that you all need to hear. You just need to hear. You need to hear. You need to see my process, the way I do things, the crafting, the everything. It's a glimpse into my dark, evil mind. Yeah, I'll see you guys in a week and a half because the next sprint ends on the 22nd, I'm pretty sure. So it ends on the 29th, 27th. I don't know. Also, real quick, leaking things. We're gonna have collaboration with other groups. We're forming a collective of groups to play test each other's games. It's gonna be amazing. We're gonna expand the community, expand the love, share the love. Game designers need love too. Hashtag put game designers on Hinge and give them love. Was that a good message? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm leaving. Bye.